Hi, and welcome to this episode of In the Recliner. Behind the Counter. We're going to be doing our review of the summer blockbuster of, for me, ever, Guardians of the Galaxy. So stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back. I am your host, Michael Boroff. With me to my left, your right, on the very, very comfy couch is Richard Catterjohn.
Hello.
And we are here to give our review of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, this just totally came out of left field for summer and just made the summer work.
Yes, we're going to give you a heads up right now. It's been a couple weeks. We did it on purpose because we've learned in the past I can't keep my big mouth shut. So we didn't want to do it too soon. We wanted to give everybody a chance to watch it. So we're not even going to warn you about spoilers.
We're just talking about the movie.
Yes, the movie. Man, ever since that first promo with Hooked on a Feeling, you want to talk about a song that most epitomizes any film I think I've ever seen aside from Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters. That song sums up that movie so well.
Oh yeah, and then the whole mixtape thing throughout the whole movie, it was just perfect.
Exactly. James Gunn, he came out, right after, it started getting popularity because of the Hooked on a Feeling. He came out and said that song and the soundtrack was going to play a very crucial role in the movie. And
it did.
It did. Not since Footloose. Yeah, I went there. Footloose. Not since Footloose has a soundtrack so perfectly tied in with the movie.
He did the Quentin Tarantino style.
Yeah.
He does that.
Yes.
Like Reservoir Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
He got that one song he needed for that.
Yep.
And then with Pulp Fiction, he did the same thing. The music just made the movie. And that's what was really accomplished with this.
Yes, exactly. And it's been out for what, say 4 weeks now?
Yeah, I think so.
4 weeks. It's still topping the charts. I myself have already seen it. I lied to you earlier.
Oh.
I'm up to 5 times. In my defense, I live very close to a very reasonably priced theater, so I can justify that. But yeah, that's how much I loved it. 5 times. Not since Serenity have I gone to see a movie that many times. And it did not disappoint whatsoever.
It was fun.
Yes.
I mean, that's the best I can say. It was a real fun watch, know? And
well, let me ask you, one of the things that I've heard most frequently comparing that movie is I've heard people call it the Star Wars of this generation.
yeah, I could see that. It really lied heavy on Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, especially a lot of these people that's going to see this now really wasn't the first Star Wars people. This is one who found Star Wars on like the VHS tape.
Yes.
Their mom and dads, and actually when it was re-released in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, this was aimed at the upper 20, mid 30 class.
Yes.
I mean, this is what it was. I'm a little older, so I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was enjoying it. I mean, even an older person can enjoy it.
Oh yes, and see that's the great thing about Guardians of the Galaxy is for people like us, we went into like Avengers with a certain level of love, anyways, because these were characters that were familiar to us, that we had emotional connections to. Captain America, the Hulk.
Right.
But when it came to Guardians,
this was the new version.
This was the new version, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a few issues from back in the day. I lost track of the book. It just kind of slipped between the cracks for me. So I went into this movie. I really didn't know anything. So I didn't have that already built-in tie.
You don't even have to, because it doesn't. I mean, it follows, but it doesn't follow.
Yes.
Which is good. It's its own movie continuity.
Yes.
So if you were upset about not being the original crew with Vance Astro and Charlie 27 or something, don't worry about it. It's got that little bit of connection too.
Yeah.
So, because Yondo is in it.
I do remember from back in the day, I was like, Rondo, I know that name. And I went back through my books. I was like, oh,
he was the bow and arrow guy.
He was the bow and arrow guy.
And he had the arrow.
Yeah.
So, he used a little whistle, make it fly, and do whatever he wants to do. So that was a really cool interpretation.
And the thingy on his head was a nice nod to the mohawk. Because, I mean, come on, Michael Rooker is a fantastic actor, but even with today's special effects, I don't think he could have pulled off the...
I don't think it would work.
Not with the mohawk, no. But yeah, And for it to have gotten as popular as it has, to make the money that it has, like I said, you know, with Avengers, you didn't have to be a comic book fan to know Captain America, to know Iron Man, to know the Hulk, to even know Black Widow and Hawkeye. These were characters that have, you know, intertwined their ways into, you know, the fabric of society. Even non-comic book people know Captain America.
Right.
You know, so there's, like I said, there's that connection. But with Guardians,
No one knows.
no one, let's be honest, no one, Star-Lord? Huh? Who? Yeah. You know,
They made fun of that right in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, who? Star-Lord. Just forget it.
Well, go on. You know, Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon and Groot. I mean, come on. Groot is a character you would not forget. Yeah. And the great thing is it's indicative of how well special effects have changed over the years, because I don't think they could have pulled Rocket Raccoon off as well as they did today, as they could have not even 5 years ago.
Oh, no.
No, I mean, there was...
I mean, he looked like...
He did. You almost had to suspend belief that it was a real raccoon. I mean, the CG on him was phenomenal. And Groot, too. I would have almost banked really good stop motion. You know what I mean?
But it's not even... It was just CG.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yes.
The whole movie just was good. I mean, you had the digital, you had the tie-in. The space sequences was great. Because you can't have explosions and sound in space.
Right.
So that's why the whole sequence was on the planet.
Nice.
That way you could have explosions and sound effects and stuff. Because if you're in space, you couldn't do that.
Well, yeah, watching the episode of Firefly, he was bold enough to prove that.
You know, she wanted to write it that way, but they didn't want it, so they compromised and went with a planetscape. That's why that whole thing took place on the Nova Corps planets. And I just thought that was genius.
Yes.
Because she gave Disney what they wanted, but at the same time, she didn't compromise.
Yep.
And that's what I loved about it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like some of her doings, you know.
Mm-hmm. And such good character development. It was almost like they didn't force origins down your throat. It was very organic, you know.
A lot of it was already there.
Yeah.
This was just them being thrown together.
Yeah.
In my mind. Because, you know, Star-Lord looked like he had already been doing adventures with those mercenaries and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and Groot and Rocket was already basically together.
Oh, God, and I have to give it up to Chris Pratt. Oh, that was one of those things where after seeing him in that role, you couldn't imagine anybody else. And to know, because I watch Parks and Recreation, and when I heard, I was like, I remember a few episodes with him without his shirt on, and so what was that one? There was an episode where him and his girlfriend are going through like a Costco or something, and he picked up an ab roller. He's like, I'm gonna get so buff, and I'm like, he got so buff. You know, it was great. He brought that.
Is there a picture floating around the internet about that?
Oh, I bet there is, and if not, I'm taking credit for it. It was awesome, and you really did. You got a feel for the character, and oh God, Thanos.
Oh yeah. Finally, you hear him talk.
Finally, yeah, we got more Thanos than even I anticipated.
A real actor, you know.
Yes. Oh, Josh Brolin. I still can't. I'm sitting here watching it, going, "That's Mikey's brother, Bran, man." And like with the bad guy, Ronan. When I found out who he was, that's the kid from Gilmore Girls. I was like, boom. And that was the great thing about James Gunn doing it, was James Gunn put his flavor, his flair into it, and he put his buddies in it. You know, Michael Rooker was fantastic in it, but I guarantee James Gunn had a lot. He had to have. And again, James Gunn, if you get a chance to, you like the movie, go back, watch Slither. Oh, I love Slither. That you will never look at Michael Rooker the same way again. But one other thing I have to add, the very first time I saw it, it was a spur of the moment impulse. I got to go see it now. Oh man, the next closest showing is in 3D. As anybody who's watched the show, I gave up on 3D a long time ago, but I was like, I have to see this movie. The next one's not till 3 hours. I'll suck it up. I would like to go on record as saying, for me personally, it is the best 3D movie I have seen to date. It was phenomenal. It didn't suffer like what a lot of the other movies in 3D did, where they occasionally... It was a normal 2D movie, but occasionally they throw something at you, you know, like Oh, it was in 3D. You know, even Captain America did that with the shield, and it was just kind of blatant. No, this, again, to use that word, was organic. Nothing felt forcibly thrown into you. And being that there was a lot of, I don't want to say space fights because
they weren't really yet, but
spaceship, you know, the ship battles. It was it was. In the moment, if you haven't got a chance to see it in 3D yet, there's one scene in particular that made it for me in 3D, and that was the scene with Groot when he grows the basket around the Guardians and he produces the fire. That was perfect for me in 3D. So, Rich, any other final thoughts on Guardians? Oh, Richard, like I said, we're going all nuts out. No spoil or all spoilers. The final scene.
Oh yeah, the ending. The collector's room. You know, it was wild. You know, you had the dog Cosmos, which was from the reinterpretation of the Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yep.
So hopefully he'll be back in the second one. And in the
because if I remember, just real quick, if I remember some of my history correctly, wasn't he like the guy that ran nowhere?
Yeah, I think in the comic interpretation.
Okay.
I didn't read too much at the very beginning of all that stuff. I caught on in the second incarnation of the newer one.
I just remember because it was a dog.
But where was we? Oh, the other, Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Seriously, Howard the Duck.
And they gave credit to credit.
Yes, they did. They did.
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
You know, the original creator got his credit.
Yep. What do you think the odds... Do you think this was just a one-off little...
That was just the directors throwing it in.
Because, let's be honest, you know, if you know any of the history of Howard the Duck, if you even remember the movie, there was a lot of subject matter in the movie and the comic books that I don't think would translate well to today's young audience.
He still might just pop up here and there.
That would be fine, but to have, you know, like just the fact that Howard the Duck and Beverly, who was a human, it would just be weird.
You Mary Jane? I mean,
Mary Jane, yeah. So there you have it, our review of Guardians of the Galaxy. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. If you have seen it, go see it again. Seriously, why are you watching us? I'm sure check. It's got to be playing somewhere. See it while you still can. I think this might be the only movie where I'm like begging. It's like, when's it coming out on DVD? While I'm watching it at the theater, it's like, I really, really want this on DVD. So, there you go. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Christmas.
So, if you get a chance to and you watch this episode, like us on the I think I was right the first time, the Facebook, and tell us what you liked about Guardians of the Galaxy. We love to hear your feedback, so check us out.
And thanks to Barry Electronics for letting us film.